Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be showing you exactly how I train for my two ultramarathons that are coming up in May and June. Now, the first ultra that I have coming up is the Wings for Life charity run, which is on the 4th of May. And that is a race where you run away from a car for as long as possible, and the car speeds up every 30 minutes until you eventually get caught. And I've done 52 kilometers in that race before, but I want to hit 61 kilometers this year. And in order to hit 61 kilometers, you're going to need to average 3:49 per kilometer. So that should be quite a tough challenge, I guess, but it's going to be fun to race because I love running quick for a long time, and that's definitely up my alley in terms of my interest. About 4 weeks after that, we're going to have another race called Ultra Perth 50k, and that's a 50k along the river at Perth. And yeah, that's going to be also, again, super exciting because 50k on flat road is going to be quick. So yeah, I'm going to try and run a pretty competitive time. There is a thing called the 50k Road World Championships or whatever, but basically I'm trying to get like an A qualifier or B qualifier for that. B qualifier would be under 3 hours and 5 minutes. A qualifier would be under 3 hours. Under 3 hours is definitely a bit of a stretch. I have to average 3:35 per kilometer. I wouldn't be too far off it in a year or two. If I hit it this year, then I'll be pretty happy. But yeah, again, not the end of the world if I don't hit it this year. But I definitely do want that B qualifier, so if I can run 3:04:59 in this race, that'll be amazing. But yeah, I forgot to program stuff on the last week leading up to this, but I guess we'll play around with that later and I'll show you what final surge is like. But let's start off by looking at where we're currently at and what we've been doing before as well. So today is the 21st of February and we currently have about 72 days away, so just over 10 weeks of training left up to Wings for Life. So yeah, not much time left. I definitely have to make use of the remainder of the time available. So again, 21st of February right now. What I've been doing is, I feel like after this recent race, John Forest National Park, which I won, I thought that I would start focusing heavily on training properly for this Wings for Life event, because yeah, it's going to require some decent training. Yeah, I started this VO2 max block. Now, why am I doing a VO2 max block? Well, if you didn't know, I PB'd in the 5K just over 2 years ago now, which is a very long time, because that was in December 2022, and I haven't improved a single bit, and if anything, I've gotten slower. I haven't really been doing speed workouts, so in general, I'm just a slower runner at the moment. And I feel like that's holding me back. I always talk about VO2 max being the ceiling of aerobic activity. Obviously, there's a lot of anaerobic contribution at VO2 max, but it's like the ceiling of aerobic activity, if that makes sense. But threshold is underneath that, I guess. And depending on how fit you are or your sporting background or running background, your threshold might be like really close to VO2 max, or it might be a bit lower. If you are a new runner, it'll probably be a little closer to your easy runs, whereas if you're a fitter runner or elite runner, you'll probably have it closer to your VO2 max. Now, I'm at the stage where I do so much threshold but no speed work, so I'm in this rare scenario where my threshold is literally pushed up to the ceiling at VO2 max. So I'm going to need to improve my VO2 max to be able to improve my threshold a lot more. And in a race like a 50k or a 61k or whatever, I'm going to need a good threshold so that I can stay calm and, not spike my lactate for majority of the race. So that's going to require me to improve my VO2 max. And we only have 10 weeks, not ideal. I would have loved to have started this VO2 max block a little bit earlier, but I guess if you leave stuff till last minute, this is what happens. So 10-week training block for this ultra, it's going to be pretty tough, but we'll see how it goes. Now, the first workout that I did in this VO2 max block is 12 by 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. This is a very tough workout. I actually made a full video on it, so go check it out if you haven't yet. So basically what I did is I just went out pretty quickly at 2:52 per kilometer. I pretty much just hung on for dear life at that point. But the good thing about sending a VO2 max pretty early is that you're going to elevate the oxygen consumption pretty early, and you want to spend a lot of time at VO2 max, which is actually really good. So I'm assuming that as soon as I did my first fast VO2 max rep, I pretty much elevated my oxygen consumption and therefore had to cling on for dear life for the rest of the workout. But yeah, if you haven't watched the video yet, I recommend you go watch it because I go into more detail about why this is such a good workout for VO2 max. But yeah, that's a good start, I guess. 12 minutes, or I guess a little bit under that, so 11 minutes-ish spent at VO2 max. And yeah, that's a good stimulus to the cardiorespiratory system. Now, the goal of this VO2 max block, and with final surge you can actually make labels for weeks, but yeah, the goal of this block, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks is to, again, have a focus on VO2 max. So the threshold is basically maintenance stuff, but this is the main focus, the Friday sessions. I might even consider adding an extra fast workout in the week just because we don't have much time to play with and I need to get that stimulus as soon as possible. I guess this morning, again, today's Friday, I progressed on to 6 by 400 meters at, again, VO2 max. Ran it pretty quickly, pretty happy with it, but yeah, still definitely a lot of work to do. I think I was averaging about 70 to 73 seconds, which is okay, but yeah, again, I need to be quicker than that if I want to run a decent 5K, and also build enough leeway for me to improve my threshold later on. Interestingly, in this workout, I actually did a threshold in the warm-up, so I did 2 minutes at 3:39, and then 45-second rest, or 46, whatever, and then another 2 minutes at 3:36. So yeah, that's just, you know, easy threshold stuff. And that kind of primes the body, raises the lactate levels a little bit, just so that it's not a shock to the system when you start the first rep of the VO2 max. So yeah, 2.5K warm-up, I did a bit of drills, and then I did 2 minutes, and then 45-second rest, 2 minutes, again, at threshold. Then I did a little bit more jogging, about 3.5 minutes, before moving on to the first rep, which is the 400 meters, which I did in 70 seconds. And you can see I held 70 seconds pretty well, and then I got slower by a second, by 2 seconds, and then by 3 seconds as we progressed through the workout. But everything was 70 to 73, which I'm happy enough with. Again, I wanted to go out hard on the first rep and try and really stimulate that oxygen consumption. I want to spend as much time breathing hard as possible, because I barely put my body through that, because I hate VO2 max, as I've already said so many times. But yeah, that's kind of a good way to stimulate the body a little bit. And I'm going to make the workouts a bit harder moving forward. So next week we have more time spent at VO2 max. We got 5 by 600. I might even change that to 6 by 600. We'll see how it goes. And then we got a bit of a broken kilometer workout where we do 4 by 600, 60-second jog, and then 400. And in between each set, so each broken kilometer, I'll have a 3-minute standing rest in between. So I'm going to try and get some quality speed in there, and hopefully we'll get a lot of VO2 max benefit from that. But yeah, really excited for that workout. That's going to be pretty fun. And that's 4Ks of quality, and that's a lot for VO2 max. And then we'll move on to 5 by 800, also 4Ks of quality, but I guess it's a bit more condensed because we're not going to have that 3-minute standing rest in between the sets. So it's just going to be 800 straight to the next 800 after just a 2-minute rest. So yeah, that should be pretty good as well. And then finally, to cap off the VO2 block, we're going to have a 1K and then a 3-minute rest, and then 6 by 300. So just changing it up a bit. But yeah, the 1K will be super hard, and then yeah, I'll do some 300 meters pretty quick as well, with only a 60-second jog in between. So that will keep the VO2 elevated, which will be very good. So that kind of caps up what I'm doing in terms of VO2 max in the next few weeks. But again, like I said, I'm trying to maintain a bit of threshold just so that I can hit the ground running when I hit my threshold block, which is right here, which will start on March 24th. So again, I've added a label. Again, Final Surge, amazing app. Even if you're just coaching yourself, it's good to have a holistic view of what you're doing. And this gives me a very clear idea of what I need to achieve in the next few months to run a good race at Wings for Life. So what I'm doing is I did a 20 by 400 earlier this week, and obviously that's 8Ks of threshold, but we want to do a bit more than that next week. So I'm doing 12 by 800, so that'll be, what, 9.6 Ks? Yeah, moving on to 6 by 6 minutes, 10 by K, so slowly increasing the amount of time spent at threshold, and then capping it off at 25 by 400, which will be, again, 10 Ks. But the difference between 10 by K and 25 by 400 is obviously you can run quicker at threshold when you're running a shorter rep like a 400. So I'm going to get that good biomechanical benefit when I do the 25 by 400. Whereas when I do the 10 by K, it might be a little more controlled, a little bit slower, but that's fine as well. So stimulating the body in different ways, it'll be a bit harder to stick to threshold in the 10 by K if I'm not sensible, so I'll have to go a bit slower, and that kind of teaches you different things. So that's my mentality on my threshold workouts that I have coming up in the next few weeks. In general, the structure is Monday, very easy recovery, not going to push it at all. Usually 7 to 8K is what I aim for. Pretty chill, pretty slow, nothing special. This week I happen to do a double run on a Wednesday and then my midweek long run on a Thursday. But from next week I'm going to try and do the midweek long run on a Wednesday, and then have a bit more of an easy day before my VO2 max session on Friday. And I'll start doubling next week as well. So I'm kind of treating the first week of the VO2 block as a bit of a recovery week. I'm only planning on hitting 100 Ks, as you can see here. But from next week, I'm going to hit 107. I might even bump up the mileage on some of these to get a bit more extra mileage, but we can kind of play with it as we go. I think it's good to be flexible, and an app like Final Surge is perfect because Obviously you can play around with it later, but yeah, maybe I'll do 13k on this day instead. But you still get like a general idea of what sort of mileage you might hit if you generally follow this plan. And yeah, I think that's a good thing. And actually with Final Surge, another quick hack, if you do end up using it, yeah, you can drag and drop in the edge here to delete the workout. And if you want to copy, you can just hold down shift and then drag it down. So yeah, I guess I'll be doing 13Ks on a Thursday from now on. But yeah, I guess tempo on Tuesday or threshold on Tuesday, VO2 on Friday, followed by shakeout just to shake out the legs, increase blood flow, active recovery. And then long runs, I haven't talked about that yet, but my plan with the long runs is to start getting in some long run workouts. I think I might make this week a workout because I kind of miss having long run workouts. I might do a long run workout next week as well, but after that I'll do like an easy long run just to let myself adapt a bit and focus a bit more on this session, because this is going to be a pretty tough session where I run quite quick. But then we can go back to doing again a workout and then another easy long run. But yeah, you can see that I'm slowly trying to increase the long run distance as well as I increase my weekly mileage, because again, we don't want the long run to be more than 35% of the weekly mileage. Again, it's just a general rule of thumb, not like really set in stone. But yeah, you don't want to do too much of your weekly mileage on one day of the week, because that's a lot of stress on one day of the week, which is why if you want to kind of progress your training, you have to add in those extra runs in a week. So that's why I'm adding that double run to get that extra mileage in the week in order to build that buffer and be able to add a bit more mileage on the long run. So that kind of caps off the VO2 block. Pretty simple stuff when you look at it from a bird's eye view. But yeah, the key is just staying consistent and focusing on recovery so that I can get all the workouts necessary. But again, I'm thinking of adding some short speed workouts on Monday potentially. I might do like 4x200 or something, nothing too long, but just to like stimulate the leg a little bit. I guess once we start the threshold block on the 24th of March, I'm gonna start doing these forced double threshold days. I actually talked about it on a video in the past, but basically forced double threshold is when you do a workout or a threshold workout in the evening or like the afternoon, and then the next morning, because that's still within like a 12-hour time frame. Technically you're still getting in that LT1 workout and then the LT2 workout the next morning. The only difference is that you get sleep in between, and that's actually a good thing because you can focus on recovery, get a quality sleep in, but you're still cramming in the threshold in a shorter time frame so that you can spend more of the rest of the week recovering properly. Because if you think about this, if I get the workout done in the morning, then I get that afternoon easy, the next day easy, and then finally a workout. And if I do this in the evening, then I get a whole 2 days off, even though I've only had 1 day in between the two workouts. So yeah, you can play around with like recovery periods by thinking about morning workout, afternoon workout, when are you putting it. You need to think a bit more about that sort of stuff as well. But that would depend on work schedules and your own context, so it's always good to remember that as well. Yeah, definitely doing like a double on the threshold days just to like pad the mileage a bit. And yeah, I want to be hitting some high volume if I'm doing double threshold. So yeah, I'll be hitting like 120, 123k, 130k a week. When we're like 1 to 3 weeks out from the Wings for Life run, I'm going to do my hardest long run. This is going to be a 45k with a workout element in it. I haven't decided what the actual workout is yet. It might be 3k, 2k, 1k, 3k, 2k, 1k, 3k, 2k, 1k. But the 1k is being a float, so not an actual recovery. So it'll just be like fast the whole time, but just getting used to hurting my body, I guess. But that's a key long run that I'll care a lot about and nailing. So yeah, I'll just have to be extra sensible in this week, and that's why I'm getting rid of that short, sharp speed workout and replacing it with just a regular midweek long run on this day, I guess. And yeah, the reason why I got rid of the midweek long run when I started the double threshold block is because the threshold is, again, a lot of volume and you're spending a lot of time doing, you know, high-end aerobic stuff. So yeah, you're gonna get that midweek kind of benefit by doing double threshold and also doubling here as well anyway. So yeah, that will help out with replacing the midweek long run, I guess. And I just want to still maintain the speed, so I maintain a bit of that VO2 stimulus. But yeah, I guess we're going to be doing a lot of hard long runs though, because 35k, 42k, 38k, 45k every single week, that's going to be pretty tough, but I think I can definitely handle that. I've done harder progressions of long runs in the past, so it's not going to be the toughest thing I've ever done, but it'll be up there. especially when you factor in the fact that I'm gonna do all this double threshold and speed workouts as well. But when I say short, sharp speed, we're talking about shorter workouts than VO2 max. So once I get over this VO2 block, I'm gonna do shorter workouts. So it might just be 800, 600, 400, 200. It might be 5 by 200. It might be 5 by 300. Not too long, but yeah, enough to maintain a bit of speed and sharpness. But yeah, as we move on to, you know, tapering off a bit, so hardest long run, yeah, 1 more week of double threshold. Yeah, starting to lower the mileage a bit, 45k long run into a 28k long run, so I'm gonna start to feel a lot better. And yeah, moving on to the second last week leading up to the race, we'll have just 1 threshold session and then a midweek long run. And yeah, tapering off the speed a little bit. Maybe I'll do a couple strides here and there, but no like planned session or anything like that. Week of the race, 5 days out, perfect time to do a bit of a session. I might do like a 3 by 2k or something like that. And then yeah, just focusing on recovery for the rest of the days. I probably should take a rest day maybe like here or something, but I also like staying fresh, and these runs are going to be significantly shorter than what I've been doing before, so I think it'll be enough recovery anyway, but I'll play it by ear and I might get rid of one of these runs. But yeah, I guess I'll talk more about this block maybe in another video because it's getting pretty long anyway. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how I juggle the recovery between this race and this race. I feel like there's not much fitness to be gained from here to here, so it's just going to be trying to maintain. And yes, I'm trying to run most days of the year this year, but I think it might be more sensible to have like a rest day, you know, 4 rest days in a row after something like that where I'm running 61k at 349 per k, which will get me to 3 hours 53. That's almost 4 hours of hard running, so it's definitely going to be taxing on the body. But yeah, again, that's why I have basically no workouts in between, because yeah, no fitness to be gained. I just want to maintain and stay healthy, so that's kind of the plan. And for those of you that are wondering what I'm going to do in terms of strength training, don't worry, I have thought it through. I'm going to do strength on the PM of the threshold runs in the VO2 block, because the threshold is less of a focus, so I'll get the threshold done in the morning, then the strength in the afternoon. And then once I start my double threshold block, I'll start doing the strength on the afternoon of the speed workouts. So basically, the good thing is because I'm focusing on VO2 max in the first few weeks or the first half, I can just shift the strength training to early in the week, and then for my double threshold block, I can shift the strength to more on the speed days because it'll be less of a focus and the workouts will be a bit shorter, and I wouldn't mind doing a bit of strength on the evening of a speed session. So yeah, that's kind of my thought process. So the strength will be like a double extra kind of session thing where I try and bulletproof myself from injury. Also, it's important to know that for me personally, I do try and fit in strength whenever I can throughout the week as well, so it's not just going to be that 1 session per week. At home as well, I'm going to do whatever I can whenever I can fit it in, but for the actual strength training sessions that I have programmed, I will be doing them in a gym because I get free gym membership at my uni because I do a certain amount of running. And yeah, that'll be nice because I'll have free gym for the entire degree. So hopefully I'll be pretty sensible in terms of the strength side of things, and yeah, we'll see if it has an effect on my training. Yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of my thought process and why I am doing this, but hopefully some of it makes sense. Hopefully it gives you a bit of ideas of how you can train for it. Again, not everyone needs to do a VO2 max block this early in a training block, but for me in this scenario, my speed is very weak at the moment, so it's something I need to focus on in order to get the maximum performance at Wings for Life in 10 weeks time. So I guess, again, liaise with a coach if you want to know more about what exactly you should do. That's what coaching is for. I coach 16 athletes. If you want to hit the wait list, then yeah, link will be in the description. And yeah, if I have time to coach, then I'll hit you up and then we can have a call and then we can discuss whether we go ahead with the coaching or not. But apart from that, thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.